Welcoming you to the Leela Podcast, a place where you can discover all things Osho Leela. You'll get to meet the community, learn about community life, and listen in as we share about our upcoming events and workshops from the perspective of the facilitators and the attendees, supporting you to find your way to Leela. Hello and welcome to the Leela Podcast, and today we have a very special guest. It's one of our loved community members. His name is Nirmna.
That's wrong. Nirmna.
Nirmna.
There you go.
Which is a very new name.
It is.
And so we are still getting used to it, and one day I will get it fully correct for you.
Someday everybody will get it right.
I think I was just trying to say it in a particularly Nirmna way. So, Nirmna. Okay. And, so what we're going to do is we're going to go into a little bit of Nirmna's life, how he found Leela, how he finds it being in Leela. He's a worker here, so he's here on a permanent basis, along with myself and many others. So we're going to just go into that, really. So, welcome, first of all, to the podcast.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Welcome. Where to start? So what I'd like to know, because I know bits and bobs of your bits and bobs story, of being here and getting here and stuff. Mm-hmm. So what I'd kind of invite you to do is just to feel into what wants to be shared. How did you get to Leela? How did you find it? Was there I always like if there's any little magical kind of synchronicities or anything like that along the way. Or who was it inspired you to come here? Yeah. So let's go with that and see where we go.
Let's go with that. Well, to start that off, we've got to discuss that I'm in addiction recovery. And halfway through my last relapse, I've been in recovery, 3.5 years, 2 relapses later. And my last relapse, I was talking to a lady online. And unbeknownst to me, she was Leela. I've been coming here for years.
I like that, Leela right.
A Leela right, yeah.
I like that.
And I'd never met her, and I was so inebriated that I couldn't type her phone number into my phone. And I managed to phone her. Within half an hour I'd never met her, she was on my door with dinner. Oh. Yeah, I absolutely adore this lady. And we developed a friendship, and she talked about Leela and having come here, and a lot of the work she'd done here was very similar to the recovery work I was doing. And her substance of abuse was food more than anything. And the work she'd done with the meditations here and other things was covering stuff I was doing in my recovery work. So I fell deeply in love with this woman. And she's a great friend of mine. That never really materialised into what I wanted it to. But she said she was coming in March for a gardening weekend, and my self-confidence was through the floor. I didn't know which way was up. I'd lost everything. And can I come? And she said, yeah. So I came here for the first time in March and never looked back.
Yeah.
That's how I found Leela.
And I remember you very clearly because we actually did a video. So if you look back in the Facebook group archives on videos, you'll see
about ukuleles.
James singing and playing the ukulele in the sunshine, and we immediately kind of built a lovely connection. And I was like, oh yeah, and then when you kind of stayed on, and
that was May, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was the spring gathering in May. That was the second time I came.
Oh, that was the second time. Okay, so you went and then came.
So I came for the gardening weekend and helped build the big marquee. The kind of work we're doing now, taking it down, is full circle of the year.
Yeah, right.
After the festival season's finished, so I came for festival prep. Yeah. And then I came and crewed the first major festival. Yeah. And stayed a while, and in the meantime, while I was here, was evicted from my home. And my kind of ideas were, I'll come to Leela more and really feel it out. Yeah. And I loved it from the moment I arrived. The moment I came through the big red door, I knew this was going to be home. Yeah. And everything transpired that the second time I came, I ended up asking to stay. And that was accepted. I was was working as part of the maintenance department there, and DBOP, our department, the Department of Building Operations. It's the coolest department in Leela.
Which no one really understands what DBOP means.
Well, yeah, you do. The Department of Building Operations. I love the names of things around here.
Yeah.
They're really well thought out.
Yeah.
And I was working as part of that and really loving it, and I could see what work needed to be done and that there were skilled hands needed. And yeah, with my kind of history of teaching and designing and making, I fitted straight in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I asked to stay. I was told I could, and then I went home, or went back to Northampton, which was home. Sold everything, packed everything up, made everything small because coming to community you can't have so much. Packed up all the important things, all my craft stuff, my silversmithing workshop, my art making stuff, and arrived here in June. And I haven't left much since.
You came in right at the midst of the festival season happening, and just that go
just as we started festivals, it was here, because we all went to Butterfield, didn't we, as a community?
Yeah.
And then we came back from that, and it's been non-stop ever since, which is fantastic. I've loved it. We've had loads of, have we had 1,000 guests through site, something like that?
Yeah, probably.
A couple of hundred people over weekends every. For 2 months, there's 1,000 people been through site.
Yeah, I've never really thought about it in the big numbers, but probably. Yeah, wow.
So looking after those people, being part of making sure workshops happen, making sure the buildings keep running, the drains, the chairs get put in, all really, really varied work.
Yeah.
I ended up being the campsite manager as well, didn't I, this summer? So yeah, looking after people staying in our caravans and in our bell tents, and it's been a really varied summer for me, and that's exactly what I need in my life.
Yeah, totally. And it's, and I know you are a man of many skills.
Just a few.
Well, I think I've got it all, and then you're like, even just now, just like, and I've like worked in filming too, and I'm like, what? That and the other million things that you've kind of done in your life, been part of in your life, and totally, it's like, I like that word, multi-passionate.
Multi-passionate's a great one. Multifaceted, Renaissance man, whatever you multi-passionate. There's lots of things I love doing in my life, which it carries a burden, because when you're doing one, you want to be doing the others. Yeah, right. So I haven't had much time for doing that over the summer, because I've been working with people. I spent a career as a teacher working with people, and people are really my thing. Making is, but making with and for is more where the passion is, and it doesn't matter what we're making out of, what we're designing, what we're doing, whether we're building friendships, whether we're building skills, or whether we're actually making physical things. It's people. So I'm looking forward to the winter here of actually getting down to my own practice. Getting, the meditations here are a big reason I came, but a lot of my meditation comes in making. I bet, right? Can you give some examples of the things that you're making or made recently? What have I made?
What
have I made recently? Not a lot.
Well, you have.
What have I made recently?
Yeah, you made a beautiful picture. I mean, you've been on the socials as well, like. Oh yeah, I was, wasn't I? Yeah. I mean, there's.
So I've done some drawings.
Even though it's interesting because you think you've not done much.
Making.
But if it was like me, it's like I haven't made anything, but. Even though you're not doing it like a lot, there's still
reframing it.
Of things,
the stuff, my personal passion projects. I've done very few of over the summer. But what did I make? I made 2 great big Roman temples for Pura Vida, didn't I? Made stage sets, massive stage sets. I've made a load of Barbo's cabin. And a load of decking. What else did we do? Jury rigged bits for the marquee and made custom panels for the marquee over the summer. I've got my sketchbook out a little bit. So what you were talking about on social is a drawing of the front of the house. So hopefully, as we recover from finishing festival season, I'll get my lino cut stuff out, and I'll be making some greetings cards of that drawing.
Yeah, amazing.
Which is going to be fun. That's on the plan. What else have I made recently? I don't know, we've got a big ditch going in, haven't we, for our new power supply, so I've been helping with that and doing some concreting with Andy and kind of sorting that out. And at the moment we're we've taken down a small village in the last week.
Yeah, I know, it's amazing. Oh my gosh.
We've taken down so much stuff and got it all cleaned and ready for storage for the winter.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've dismantled a small village and we're now making a really tidy store. So yeah, working for the community has been it's really wonderful when you do things for others. That has always been a passion, you know. I feel more rewarded taking down a load of marquees than I do spending an hour drawing in my own sketchbook.
Oh wow, really?
That's more rewarding because it's part of the reason I came to live in community. You know, being in recovery, it was alcohol with me, and alcoholics tend to lose almost everything in their lives. So I got down to a point where basically I had a bin bag with my stuff in it and a relationship with my children. That's all I had left of my old life. And I taught in high schools for many, many years. And the pressure of that, the stress of that, I ended up having a breakdown after breakdown. And it wasn't until it was when the lockdowns came that it really got bad. I was isolated, I was on my own, I was drinking heavily. And I made a decision to stop about 3.5 years ago. And that's been a trip and a half of figuring out who I am again. Still not sure. Kind of half the reason I'm here. What I can do again. I'm not the man I was. That's for certain. And a rediscovery of self and all the things that kind of drove me to the bottom of a bottle. So having found Leela, having come here, having now settled here, what am I in? I'm nearly in 4 months now, something like that. That's flown by. That's flown by. And the kind of clues in the name, it's a personal development centre, isn't it? You don't come and live here without wanting to do work. Which brings us on to life training, which starts next week. So I'm on one of our signature courses, aren't I, over the next 7 months. And I came here, one, to learn to live with people, because I was cold, alone and isolated. Having been to where I've said. Make new friends in new ways, discover more about myself, because living in a community is a challenge. You can live in it so many different ways, but you're living with a bunch of people, and that is going to throw stuff up all day long, every day. There's something going to arise in somebody or in you, or I love that. I absolutely love that, because it makes you think about what's going on in here.
Yeah, totally.
And we live in the outside world, it's kind of a bit of a bubble in Leela, isn't it? We live in this.
It does become a bit of a bubble, especially if you're just popping down the road to Waitrose and back, and then it's like, wow, I need to go somewhere else for a little while.
I think I need a holiday. I've got one of those planned.
Nice.
But it's really concentrated here with emotions and relating with people. You know, you live in a tight sphere, aren't you? And that's really developmental for everybody. I love it. I love that bit of it. I love the stuff we do together, the way we work in the morning. Who'd have thought dancing with your friends and having a hug and saying affirming things was a brilliant way to start your day.
I know, right?
I know, it's great, isn't it? And then you go to work, and you go to work with your friends in friendship, and there's always challenges, and and then you stop and come to the coffee shop for a cup of coffee with your friends, and then you go back out to work again and lunch, and it's all it's community based, it's all teamwork. And it's brilliant for figuring out who you actually are. It's real.
Beautiful. And it sounds like you've like, for me anyway, just sort of seeing you, it's like you've just dropped in. I mean, you're like, got back to your kind of multi skills. It's like, music as well.
Oh, we haven't talked about playing music,
have we?
No, because
it's like, you can always, like, it's so lovely to have musicians like coming through. And actually, like, when the community as well, like when there's people in the community that can play, and just hearing like the joy and the love that comes from the coffee shop, in the evenings when you've got your what are they called?
Well, I don't know. We
multiple different instruments. Violins. Yeah.
What do I play? Violin, uke, bass, tenor guitar.
Yeah.
All sorts of things. Yeah, and
different styles. different
folk, rock, whatever. Yeah.
We're going to go back in time to like indie rock, or are we going to be like...
Always got to go back to the 90s every time.
Yeah.
And we get guests through the place that play.
Yeah.
So we have impromptu musicians that pop in that we jam with. There's core community members that play. I love playing our piano.
Yeah.
So stood halfway up on my little stage, halfway up the main stairs, with the violin echoing through the house, and the piano being played as well. It's so nice, and that's back to that not living alone again.
Yeah, right.
You know, you can play so much music on your own until you're just like, well, where can I go now? And as soon as you get more people in, like with the art, like with the making, like with the stuff we've talked about filmmaking, or like spending the summer teaching one of our community members how to use spreadsheet stuff.
Yeah.
So that makes my day really varied. But the joy in like you said it earlier, I haven't used those words, co-creating. And that's a massive part of this place. You don't go off on your own. You do it together. And I love it.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've had a few experiences recently of like doing the full moon circles and things like this, and the retreat, and it's for me because I was very much a lone wolf as well. I was doing a lot of my healing journey, but doing it on my own and not really like I'd go to community, I'd go to ecstatic dances and things like that, but there was never this kind of like sense of like togetherness beyond the workshop.
Well, you withdraw and go home, don't you?
Yeah, you're back into your little bubble and wherever that is, and so actually to be here and it's like you can, like sometimes there's spontaneity as well, and it's like we had like a random conversation the other day, and it was like we were talking about old school garage music and the Stevie Wonder song anyway, and then it was like, oh yeah, should we? Yeah, let's go and like.
That was like improv dance.
There was just like an impromptu
dance,
and it was like there was nothing on, and it was okay to just use the space, and it was just like, wow, like when can you like start a little party like with 3 of you, and then there's 10 of you. Just it's like our living room.
I wandered past,
like our living
didn't I?
room.
And ended up joining in. I was like, what's going on? Oh no, dancing to 90s garage. Let's go. Yeah,
and yesterday. Bhavan he's taught me this kind of like breathing technique and stuff that you do, and it's really great because it just brings like so much more energy into your body, and then I was chatting to somebody and it was like, but this would be really good to do in the break, wouldn't it? Just to fuel ourselves with a bit more oxygen, and then it was like we were doing it 2 of us, and then there were 6 of us doing it, and it's just like. Just that, and you must feel that as well. The music, it's like 1, 2, and then it just expands, and then somebody starts banging the drums.
Totally, or people wander in and just sit.
Yeah, and it's just beautiful, isn't it? Just this like the togetherness of it. And
it's really lovely when you play, and there aren't so many musicians in the house, but other members of the community or our guests will just come and sit and listen.
Yeah.
And when you're isolated and alone, that never happens. Well, it can't happen, can it? You've got your front door shut.
Yeah.
But here, people will come in and say thank you. I'm enjoying it. I love playing. But you make music. It's sounds made for others.
Yeah.
And for that to be accepted and received with gratitude, it's just beautiful. We don't live like that in our modern world. You might see a busker on the street. Loads of people will walk past, a few people will stop, but they'll only stop for a fleeting moment. And we can play for hours, and people will sit and listen for hours.
Yeah.
And then they might join in, or somebody might sing, and it doesn't matter with the music we make here. Everything's accepted. Come and sing. What do you mean you can't sing? You can. You've got a voice. Make noise with it.
Yeah. And
come and enjoy yourself. It's, we were saying the other day, it's one of my major releases. Like I was talking about being in my sketchbook, playing my violin or singing at the top of my lungs, or just it really, really does kind of bring a meaning back into life. when you
I
can
got a
create
sense
like
of that actually, like with you, because I was like, oh, I bet, you know, especially when you guys have been grafting, because you're such grafters, you know, and it's like, you know, the never-ending list of Depop, you know, and it's like there's always something to be done, and it just, and I notice things like that, and I'm like, wow, like James he's out, he's playing his music again, and I'm like, I bet that's a release.
Massive.
For him, you know, it's like it's like coming back from work, isn't it? And then it's just like you're just fueled, and you're fueling yourself with all this like joy and love and energy, which is that kind of like polar opposite of just like, you know, like you say, like nothingness of like when it's not fulfilling to go and just rest and just be in your own space or whatever. It's just that opposite, isn't it? It's like you're giving yourself more love and more energy in that.
Absolutely.
So.
It's physical as well as mental, isn't it? I've got the peace and tranquility of playing, but also the whole things it does for moving my body, like we're doing our active meditations. You're moving your body, your hormones, you know, you're getting oxytocin, adrenaline, all the other things kicking about your system. Your nervous system's being regulated because you're spending time in a space with others doing the same thing. Yeah, massive. And like going back to addiction, I used to think the solution to that was at the bottom of a pint glass. It's not. It's in a space with other people, working as a team. Like you said, we graft, we lift heavy things, we make sawdust, build things, and dig holes and do all that. And that's beautiful in the sun. In our beautiful grounds, which we haven't even talked about yet, working outside the main house on the grounds is just a fantastic office. You know, sitting on top of one of our pine cabins, you get a really different view of Leela.
Nice.
I can't wait to work on the roof of the big house. That'll be amazing. What a view you'll get from up there.
Perspective.
Yeah.
Overview.
Total change of perspective. Most of our community spend the day on the ground. We walk around the grounds and we see the trees and we look up and we see the wildlife and the moment, the abundance in our grounds. It's huge. Try it from 20 foot off the floor. Exactly. It's a different ball game. You end up seeing it like our rooks that live in the big tree out the front. You must see it a little like them.
Exactly. I've always had a thing about birds of like, oh, I'd love to be a bird. I'd love to be able to fly, you know.
Oh, yes, please.
And if you ever seen, there was a documentary, it wasn't Attenborough, but it was basically, it was like the astronauts looking down from the spaceships, and it was Will Smith who did the voiceover, and it was the most amazing thing because they call it the overview effect.
Yes. And
it's like you don't have that perspective until you're actually off your planet.
Yeah.
To look back at the planet and see the planet as your home, you know. And so it just reminded me of that, because it's like, to be a bird, to be able to see like what we just don't see. We're just like looking ahead, or you know. Yeah,
we really 4 or 5 foot off the floor.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you know, I find that in the mountains when I go climbing. You get this perspective from high up, and the discussions that happen around here. You were talking about seeing the blue circle of the Earth when the first astronauts went out.
Yeah.
We were talking the other day about Carl Sagan's blue dot. Have you heard that?
No.
So I'm pretty sure it's a picture through Saturn's rings. So it was taken by Voyager 1.
Oh wow.
And there's this tiny little blue speck, and it's kind of through a sunbeam basically, and it's Earth.
Yeah.
And that's all the people you've ever known.
Yeah.
All the lives that have ever been lived.
Yeah.
All the things that have ever been made are on that tiny little blue speck in all that blackness. Yeah.
It's good to have that perspective.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we gain it, and we didn't see it until the mid-60s.
Yeah, no, right.
First people to actually go out to the moon were the first people to see that blue image with their own eyes.
Bizarre, isn't it, when you really think about it?
It's
to like
mad,
not
isn't it?
have that vision in your mind.
We've never, before that, we'd never seen our own planet.
Wow.
And
So we've gone off
Oh,
get out of
keep
space.
going. Oh, well, yeah, shall we bring it back down to Earth?
Back down, zoom in, and then we've got Leela.
Yeah.
we've got this amazing space that we're living on, this amazing land. We've got, just this abundance that we're kind of like currently living in as well. And it's like the big, but also then like the, wow, the courgettes that we're eating for our lunch.
Vanilla courgettes.
That have just been picked directly.
They're wonderful. But they've been going for 2 months.
Yeah.
More yellow courgettes.
They're still going.
Have we still got one?
We've still got more courgettes to go.
Yeah, it's like, what did you send me yesterday? About the wild service tree.
Yes.
Did you walk past it the other day?
So we went on a walk, and actually I need to put that video up onto YouTube as well. The one of John Kramer, who is our on-site tree expert extraordinaire.
He's our rewilding guru as well.
Rewilding guru and everything. Yeah. So watch out for that one because I'll put it up soon. And we were on this walk and we came across this tree. James got very excited.
I did get really excited.
And I was just like in awe of your excitement, and you're like, because it's like when somebody's like that in that like the passion, right? Yeah. And it's like you're observing that, you become part of that, and it's like a childlike kind of joy, isn't it?
It's the play thing. It's the Leela thing, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Trees are my thing in nature. Birds, like you said.
What tree is it?
It's a wild service tree. Yeah. And they're really quite a rare tree. So anything, they're actually called a checkers tree as well. So a checkers, the Prime Minister's home.
Oh yeah,
up in the Chilterns, I used to live by it, and it was full of those trees around it. The Chequers pub name comes from the same tree because the Romans used the berries to flavour beer.
Yeah, okay.
And it's a kind of it's a really different leaf shape. I don't know whether it's part way through the evolution of trees, so you get ginkgo, which is really early evolution of a tree, and then I think the wild service trees are in there, and then you get up to ash trees where they're all subdivided into tiny leaves on a stem.
Okay.
So you get varying evolutions, and the wild service tree was used in the medieval period because the berries really store.
So when people have run out of food, they would be the ones that
last
the longest?
You can crop them and keep them.
Yeah, okay.
Like we've got a quince tree on site as well. They keep really well.
Yeah.
Medlars were a medieval foodstuff, and so were checkered berries, because when they're overripe, and that's the thing, overripe, they taste like dates.
Yeah, so we walked past it the other day, so I sent you that picture, and I was like, oh, I presumed that you already knew the berries were there.
Yeah, there's a ripe
but
in your picture.
I didn't try them, so I need to try. Are they ready now? Are they?
I'm colourblind, so you could probably see that one of the berries. I can see one of the berries is darker. Yeah. With some green and some red.
I thought they were kind of like brownie.
Well, there's your colour vision then.
What we're going to do is we're going to James took some beautiful photos, so we're going to put some photos into this podcast, just so people know what we're talking about.
I'll go and take some.
Nice.
This afternoon because the berries are coming ripe.
Yeah, okay.
I ate my first.
So they've got to be what colour? What colour?
You're asking a colourblind guy.
Okay. So they look kind of brown.
They're a darker colour to the unripe ones, and they're a bit soft and squishy.
Okay.
But I ate my first one in 15 years yesterday.
Wow.
I love them. I love them. They're an acquired taste. They're an interesting texture.
Yeah.
They taste like, I don't know if you were ever cheeky and nicked a brown sugar packet and just ate the brown sugar. Like crystalline.
I remember dipping my finger into sugar.
So that crystalline thing when you put sugar in your mouth, especially brown sugar.
Yeah.
They kind of taste like that with a datey, juicy fruitiness to them. They're not your standard berry. Let's say that.
I'm gonna go try.
We'll go for a wander after this. It's coffee break in a bit.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. We'll go do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, nice. So trees. Yeah, so many passions. I don't even think we've touched on a lot of the passions, but I'm also aware because with Leela as well, people come in and there's such a big variety of people come in.
Real massive cross section of people, isn't there?
Yeah. Of just with different skills and different abilities, and we also have a lot of people that come in that don't think they've actually got much to give as well. So I kind of wanted to just mention that as well, because it's I think that's important, isn't it? It's it's such a place to for people to realise
massively so
through play, through exploring, through sitting and listening to music,
Or
and then
working.
actually starting to sing or starting to bang the drum.
Yeah, or
You
even
know,
working
and I've done
with
a
us.
lot of that. Yeah, exactly.
So I had one
yeah.
the other day, and a member of our community who was quite fearful of coming out to work with us. Probably not probably, definitely from what had happened earlier in their lives. And he was so afraid of doing what he was doing, but everything he touched was brilliant.
Yeah.
And at the end of I didn't know about his feelings while he was working. He surprised me with his strength. He surprised me with his ability to do things. When he was unsure, it was clear, and all I needed to do was explain something, and then off he went. And it wasn't until later that day, after we'd finished work, where he shared something. It was like, oh my word, you are 180 degrees out in how you think about yourself to how I see you.
Yeah.
So the opportunities for development, if you fancy holding a power drill or a battery drill or a screwdriver or a chisel, come.
Yeah, totally. And it's the same, isn't it? It's like in the kitchen. I mean, like when I think about, if you'd have said, like, Louise, you're going to be able to, like, cook for 30, 35 people in the community, maybe, like, 2 years ago, I'd have been like,
nah. Are you doing that tonight, aren't you?
No way.
Yeah.
Can't do that. Yeah, because it's just, you just build, don't you? And, like, you know, through learning, through doing kind of, like, the cooking or going out with Depop or gardening. I mean, the gardening as well is just like, wow, you've got so many different skills
Massive
around.
Site.
It's just, it just blows my mind, you know. And I feel like I'm upskilled in so many ways just from being here.
Again, we're back to the name, aren't we? It's a personal development
centre.
Yeah,
you know, but not even sometimes what you think you're going to develop.
Oh no, totally.
You know,
it can be on a tangent. You'll pick
yeah.
something up by working with somebody, and that's going back to what you said about the diversity in the community. There are loads and loads, everybody here has something to bring, and everybody here has something to gain from everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And if you open yourself up to that, the opportunities for realising quite how powerful you are and how amazing you are and what you can actually achieve are vast, because we live in, what are we at? Are we at 30, 40?
Yeah, it goes between 30 and 40, I think.
Yeah, it kind of fluctuates, doesn't it? It's quite quiet this week.
Yeah,
isn't it? Because we've finished the festival season, autumn's coming in, and we're settling down. But still, we've got people in our community that have done, like we're talking about me today, and I've got my multifaceted, but I'm one of 40. So if there's 40 people like me here, oh my God, the opportunities are massive.
Yeah, exactly.
And even in the 4 months, what's that? That's 120 days. The change in me from arriving is huge. Like, I wouldn't have expected to be. Well, I don't think living out back in Northampton where I came from, I would not have changed the way I've changed. At the speed I've changed, and in the right direction. The positive change would never have happened if I hadn't been here.
Yeah, I've just kind of observed you as like a kind of, you know, that moment of like, you know, oh, is the flower going to flower, you know, is it going to flower, is it not? And it was just like, there was this like moment of like, gosh, you came from such a big story, you know, such a big thing of like, you know, like coming down from to the south with all your stuff, and it was like, wow, okay, how's it going to go, you know? And there's this thing of like, and it was just really beautiful to see you just settle in and be yourself and do your thing, and you're flowering.
I am. The anxiety of making that decision to come.
Yeah, it's huge, wasn't
and
it?
then downsizing everything was it was actually 6 weeks of hell getting here. And then another beautiful member of our community said, I'll drive all the way from Dorset to come and get you. Like, you'll what? Okay, thanks, man. And now I work with him every day. And obviously, I'd been through a real journey to get here, and landing with a load of anxiety into the unknown almost. Yeah, I'd only been a couple of times. I hadn't lived in community much. I didn't know so many in the community. The anxiety of that, and is it going to work? Because this is home now. This is it. Oh, this is serious. And that, I suppose about 6 weeks ago, that kind of started to dissipate. It was Butterfield, wasn't it? When we all went away as a lot of the community. Did we leave 7 behind or something? We were all there. And we all had a great festival and kind of chilled out and touched base with each other, and then came back and really got into the work. That changed everything for me.
Yeah.
So we need some more community days, community holidays. we haven't been out on one since we went to the beach back in June.
I know.
We need another.
We're kind of having a bit of a just a break at the moment because we've just come and even
season.
we're not even wanting to all go. Sometimes you do need that little bit of a gap of nothingness. Really, we're in that kind of
we need a rest
space. So just chilling out and
we've been working.
And it is. It's coming into autumn and it's time to kind of. It's lovely because there's an inward. We're coming in and Leela continues. Leela continues. We're going in. You're going into the workshops, darling.
Yeah, I'm going into training.
I did it all last year, and it's a beautiful journey. So and it is. It's a deep dive. It very much, for me, the timing of it as well. You're going through the winter season. You're going into yourself. You're looking. You're really searching, and it just, for me, it's so well thought out in that sense of the timing for it.
Yes, I hadn't thought about the way we put it in the year.
Yeah.
The first in October and then all the way through the winter.
Yeah.
And then finishing it, when does it finish? March?
I think so, yeah.
7, aren't they?
March, it might be the beginning of April. So.
April is the last one. And then you're off into spring and summer again, aren't you?
Yeah.
Had your winter.
Had your winter,
Wow.
then it's about playtime.
Yeah, that.
So celebration and
I hadn't thought about it like that.
And you get pockets of that, because talking about cycles, you've got the cycle of the year and then you've got the cycle of the month, so you've got a workshop each month and then you're kind of integrating that into community and then you have the next one and so on.
You've got to integrate it into yourself and how you work with others and whatever's coming out of that. I'm really looking forward to being part of a cohort again.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And seeing what connections develop there, because everybody's like, oh, you'll make bonds and you'll do this and you do that and this will happen, because you've all experienced it, a lot of you, and some of you have assisted on it, and I'm really looking forward to it because it's the next step for me. We've talked about me coming here and the development that's happened just through living in community. The recovery work I did, I'm a 12-step program guy. The deep dive you have to do to get through those 12 steps. And then the recurrence of that when you start to sponsor and help others in recovery. I've done that a few times, so going into this training, what's there? I've deep dived a few times, and this is a different way of doing it, in a different method. What am I going to find? There's part of me that's really excited for that, because I've done a lot of clearing the decks. I've got rid of a lot of the old trauma and the stuff I carried for 20 odd years. What am I going to find? So there's let's get on with this. That's the thing about personal development with me. It gets to a point with some, and it did with my early years. It's like, oh, not again. I've got more work to do. Oh, really? I thought I was done. And the fact of the matter is, you're never done. So I've turned it into, another opportunity for personal growth. Here we go. And it's not I'm not forcing it, because like we've said, I keep repeating it. It happens every day here. You get opportunities for personal growth. Every day. But this is big. This is going to be a big push on. Right, let's have a real look at. And then can't wait. When's that? Is that Friday?
Yeah. So maybe we can do an after.
A before and
this
after.
Is James.
Hello.
Before the Leela live training.
This is James after.
This is James afterwards. No.
All bright and so on.
Yeah. Well, maybe we could do that. Maybe.
We'll have to get together in
next
the middle.
year. Yeah. Maybe.
Checking how it's going, maybe.
Yeah. Let's do that. Hey. Fantastic.
Right.
Okay. Well, I think we've given a lot of a full-bodied around many different aspects and stuff. Is there anything that you feel you want to say, to speak into before we start kind of wrapping up?
Not really. Just if you're thinking about coming to Leela,
okay.
give us a ring.
Yeah.
Give us a ring and check us out and come. Because it's lovely, you know. It works for some. It'll work for some. It will work for us. But you won't know until you try.
Yeah. Right.
Try it. You've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, definitely. And it really is. It's about kind of like having a look, checking it out. I mean, we've got other podcasts where people have come on. They've done the training and stuff, and other podcasts of other community members, and more coming. Hopefully, I'm trying to get them all into the studio. And and lots of information. It's good to really feel and go, is this for me? Is this the right time for me? Is this what I need? And really kind of tune into it.
Yeah, but you won't know until you come.
And you won't know until
you won't know until you come.
Yeah, and it does sometimes take that little leap.
Like mine, when I wasn't brave enough to come on my own.
Yeah, wow.
I wasn't brave enough, and I wasn't driving at the time, and I was kind of holed up in my little space, and it wasn't until the opportunity came with a friend, and I said, please take me.
Wow,
that I arrived.
Yeah.
So you've got to take the leap.
Yeah, take the leap. All right, my dear. Thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. I love talking to you.
And I love talking to you, Lou.
And actually, we get to just talk in work time now, so this is great, isn't it?
Yeah.
So lovely. Thank you so much, and thank you if you're watching, if you're resonating, enjoyed this. Please do comment below. Feel free to send a message in the comments to James, to Nirmna.
There we go.
Formerly known as James. Nirmna. And thank you for watching. Take good care. Lots of love. Oh, what we do is we end on a hug, but it's like a seated hug.
Oh, what's that? Yeah.
So we'll try and work that one out. There we go.
Okay.
So a Leela hug. So a good 20 seconds.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, dear. Thanks for coming.